Hey, hi everybody. This is Hemp Meadows and Denim Sky, and this is the Hemp and Denim Podcast.
Hey, we've got a great episode for you tonight. Actually, it's episode number 10.
Number 10.
Or is it number 9? I think it's number 9.
Okay. I thought number 10 might be too many.
Yeah, so it's episode...
Many other people think it might be too many as well. I can't even believe we've had 9 episodes already.
We haven't, and we've been persevering, and in fact, that's kind of what our show's going to be about tonight.
What are we going to do?
We're going to talk about persevering and following your dream.
Following your heart.
Yeah,
In fact, that's kind of the theme of our show is following your heart, because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And have been doing, and we hope to inspire you to get off your ass and follow your heart as well, too.
That's right. So we
want to give you some support and encouragement in regards to doing that.
Hopefully a lot of encouragement, because it's really hard to do, but it's a lot of fun and rewarding.
We only make it look easy.
Well,
Not that easy.
Hopefully. Where can we find us? Oh, you can find us on Facebook and YouTube. You can see us on Facebook and YouTube. You can hear us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Google Play.
Can you say Google Play again?
That's a tongue twister. It makes me laugh. Google Play.
Google Play.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's great to be here at our undisclosed location studio in and or around Nashville, Tennessee.
We broadcast from an undisclosed location, which we'll become painfully aware of why we're doing that later in this broadcast.
I don't know about that, but I think that it's pretty fun doing this podcast. It's kind of scary, too.
Is it because we have so many fans that are outside? We don't want them to know where we are, where we live?
I don't think we want certain people to find us, possibly.
Like the law?
No. We're
or
not.
Creditors?
No, well, predators, possibly.
No, not predators. Creditors.
Creditors.
Yeah. We don't have any creditors.
No.
That's one thing. We're living debt-free right now. It's pretty great.
It's pretty
we'll
great.
talk about that later in our show.
It's
I'm sure you might be interested.
Different show, yeah.
Yeah, a different show. Not today. What are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about overcoming fears that prevent you from doing stuff you want to do.
Fear of trying.
Yeah, fear of trying, because our show is about follow your heart.
Right.
And that's what we've been trying to do. So we've
fear
dedicated ourselves totally to this for the last year. And, we know that people out in our audience, they have things they want to do, follow their heart, and maybe we can encourage them by our example and our mistakes, learn by our mistakes. But
is that really what you want to do on this show, honey?
No, I don't really want to do that.
But I have a fear of trying.
Do you?
Yeah, because I have a fear of crying. I really do. I hate to cry over my past mistakes, but if I can somehow, make it up to myself by providing you with some wisdom or insight into the mistakes that I've made, and particularly if I can make a buck off of it, I'd love to do that. I mean, this is hard-fought wisdom. I just can't give it away for free. Although that's what I'm doing right now. This must be just kind of a teaser for a book sale I want to make.
Yes, that could be.
In fact, it is.
Well,
it's called...
What's it called? What's the book called?
How to Fail Your Way to the Top.
All right.
Yeah, 101 different ways you can fail. I failed so many different ways I wound up on this show, actually. I don't know if I'm on my way up or my way down. I just know that we're meeting here in the middle. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here,
If, in fact, you are here. If you're not here, it doesn't really matter.
Well, one of the things that we want to talk about highs and lows.
What were some of your highs this week, and what were some of your lows?
Well, I would like to say that my lows...
Let's start with the lows.
We definitely
you want the good news or the bad news?
No, we want the bad news first.
Start with the bad news.
And this is about fear also, because, my lows were fear-based. One of my biggest fears was that the video that we shot down in Florida was not going to be any good.
I had that fear, too.
And I was very, very, very afraid of the money we spent and all the time, and that it was going to amount to nothing. Mm-hmm. So that was
and we had good reason to be afraid.
We did have very good reason to be afraid.
Tell them a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, we didn't have any locations, and everything we had to do was guerrilla style. And for me personally, that I would just walk up in front of a place and, dance or sing while the camera's going in a boombox with, You
didn't do that, though.
No, you did that
No,
part.
we asked permission.
Well, we did ask permission, but
did.
It was scary to even do that for me. Just
Well, that's why I did it. And the guy couldn't have been nicer.
he was very nice.
But we asked permission, you know.
Well, it was more the fear that we wouldn't find any decent locations.
Well, see, here's the thing. We were afraid from the very beginning. I mean, we decided to shoot a music video. We were going to go on a vacation. Then Denim got the bright idea, since we're going to be in Florida, let's do something at the beach, right?
Right.
Let's do something down there for a music video that we could never do or replicate in Nashville. I thought that was a great idea. Then it came down to, okay, who are we going to get to shoot it? So you put out an APB to get somebody to come down.
Well, it's just, I don't want to go over the details of that because we covered that in episode 6, I think.
You should go back and listen to that.
Episode 8. But the main thing was this big production that we had in our heads and we had committed to financially, and Mother Nature did not cooperate. It was completely, the weather was terrible, actually, and it's in many ways. And so it was a big low. That was a very, very big low for me. But then, can I say my highs now?
Yeah.
The high was the video came back and it's really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. So we're very excited about it.
Well, I'd say I'd have to agree with that. That the high for me was the way the video turned out, because it's actually incredible. And when you see it, I think you'll be inspired to follow your heart. That's the name of the song, and that's kind of the theme of our show: is to follow your heart. You know, find your gift, fuel the flame of passion, figure out where you might be able to fit in and how you might be able to give your gift, and then become really, really good at it, and get so good at it that it's undeniable. That then people would just, you know, whether you can ever make money at it or not is not even the issue. It has to do with your own soul satisfaction. And so, particularly at this time of life, I mean, if not now, when? Because you don't know how long you've got, and rather to go out in, you know, pursuit of your ultimate purpose, living your life as full as you can, you'll never probably be, you know, better than you are now. And if you've got a chance to do it, please pursue it. I got to write that down.
If you got a chance to do it, please pursue it.
Yeah.
I love that.
See, this is songwriting.
So that's great.
We're not co-writing, though. I'm not cutting you in on any of the money I'm not going to make.
That's all right.
On
I
this
get
song.
half of it anyway, of all of it.
Yeah, she gets 100%.
That's right.
Okay.
So that was really great. It did turn out good. I mean, we weren't able. Some of it didn't turn out good. We weren't able to use all the footage.
Right.
Some of it didn't.
You know, when you're shooting outside, it's so inconsistent from 1 hour to another. Like we shot at 9 a.m. and then, you know, like by afternoon, the light that you can't.
The light
shoot
was
anymore.
different
Completely.
every time.
And then the next day you came back and it was all cloudy and everything, so it was a whole nother thing.
It was
so.
completely different every time. But the thing I was the most worried about, and I know Hemp was worried about this too, was it was like really, really windy the whole time.
Yeah.
And I had a hairdo that I don't ordinarily wear, which is my hair going straight back during most of the video. But it turned out that the wind was like another character and energy in the video, and it really, when you see it, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Makes it more exciting, I think.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that, and now we're trying to figure out how to launch it. Well, I guess we are launching it on this show, and then.
Last week.
No, we saw it last week.
No, they didn't.
No, they saw a clip last week.
Yeah.
We're going to show the whole video at the end of the show, so stay tuned to the end of the show. And after the show has gone live, it'll be available, but you guys will have it first.
Absolutely. That's one of the benefits
And we
of
hope
watching
it'll
the show.
inspire you
Yeah.
to follow your own heart.
Because really, I mean, that's a big part of what we want to do, is to provide some support and encouragement for you to follow your heart. Because, you know, if we all do that, I think we'll all be a lot happier. And if there's one thing I see out in the world today, is a lot of frustration and a lot of broken hearts and dreams of people that really don't know if they can do it or if they have the passion to do it anymore. And I was right there with you. I didn't have the heart for doing what I'm doing now, and I didn't have the passion for it. And it took a lot of life stuff happening to me and to kind of shift gears in our life to be able to be where we are today. And
Well, we're
we
in
want to share
hyper
that with you.
overdrive right now. I mean, I've personally never been as productive as we
Yeah.
are right now.
Yeah.
I mean, how many projects I've started that I didn't bring to completion.
Oh, me too.
You know,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you guys have done that too. You start something,
Yeah.
and then later on, you discovered in your closet some kind of project or
Well, that's one of the
whatever.
reasons why people don't get started on stuff is because we didn't complete them. I remember talking to Tony Robbins one time, and this was back in a time when he'd sold millions of these tapes, right? 30 Days to Personal Power. I saw him on TV, and I said, I'm going to order the tape system. And it was expensive. It was like $300. And of course, when you're ordering
It was
stuff
cassette tape.
like cassette tapes, I've still got them. I mean, I can't bear to
Except
throw
one's
them away.
missing.
And that's the relationship one. No, I'm just kidding.
I think you lent that to somebody.
Yeah, he never gave it
You
back.
never
yeah.
gave it back.
But anyway, I wonder how his relationships are going. Not so good with mine. Okay, but here's the thing: it's like he said, he had sold millions and millions of them, and he said, would you like to guess what the percentage is of people that never opened the box?
How much?
And what would you think?
50%?
Oh, that'd be really high, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you think you pay $300
That's a lot
for
of
it
money.
because the reason why he's a motivational speaker is because he motivates you to get up out of your chair and go get your wallet, and then come back and put your credit card in, and then buy something. That takes a lot of motivation, right? There's so many times you could jump off and not do that, but anyway, he had sold all of these tapes. Somebody like me bought $300 worth of cassette tapes on Personal Power, and he said, how many percentage you would think don't open it?
How many?
90%.
90% don't even open the box.
That was their study.
Wow.
Because they follow up with everybody.
You get kind of a rush when you buy one of those things,
Well, you do, and then you wait for it, and then 3 or 4 days later it shows up, and so he said 90% don't ever open it, and I said, why is that? What's the reason? And he said it was because they were afraid that they wouldn't finish it.
Wow.
Because they'd started so many things in their life that they never completed.
Wow.
They didn't want to be reminded of being a failure. Isn't that incredible?
It's incredible. It's so hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a reverse motivation that stops us when we start thinking about it. We might have a dream, but, then we don't follow through on it. So anyway, that's our first segment, a little bit about it, and we'll be right back.
You can't fool karma.
Overcoming fear to do what you want to do. Like if it was going to be easy, I don't think it'd be worth much. So, following your heart and your dream and accomplishing stuff takes a lot of effort. And for a lot of people, myself included, it's overcoming like the fear of failure or,
Yeah.
to even get started.
Yeah, fear of failure. And there's an acronym that some of you know that I remember the first time I heard it, I was completely blown away. And it's like one of those where you take words and you put it with each letter, beginning letter. And F stands for false, and E stands for evidence, and A stands for appearing, and the R stands for real.
What?
Can we cut that and start over? Real. I was on a roll
funny.
too. Yeah. see, it's like
No. You should
I
leave
had a
that
fear-
part
I-
in.
I-
That might
yeah.
be interesting. See, you're not perfect.
no. You have to leave it
See?
in. Leave it in.
Leave it in.
It's
So it's
terrible. Leave
fear.
it in. It's
Pa-
fear. I had
false
a
evidence
tremendous
appearing
fear.
real.
It's false evidence appearing real.
So your tongue was afraid of that last word. It was like
Couldn't do
Google
it.
Play.
Yeah, exactly. But see, this is the thing, and I want Casey to put a little thing that says false evidence appearing real, because that's really what fear is.
Yeah.
And there's ways to get around fear, because all of us feel it. And if you really kind of understand that it's false evidence appearing real, then you understand that, hey, it's all a mental construct of the way you're thinking about what's happening at the moment or what might happen. And we all have a tendency
Usually
to be
it's
negative.
what might happen.
Yeah.
It's the future.
Yeah, one of the things that people say sometimes at the end of their life is, I spent most of my life worrying about things that never happened, right? So that's what fear is.
Well, that doesn't mean you don't need to take account of what could go wrong.
Right, and I think that's the point.
part of planning.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you do, and this is one of the things that we've experienced through our experience, you don't know what you don't know when you're first starting out.
That's right.
And so you go in brazen, you have no fear, right? And that's not a good place to be either. Fear, in another way, could be respect. You're fearful of something, so like fire, you respect it, you handle it properly.
Well, I think that one of the things that I'm hoping that we can inspire people to do is that, you know, if maybe there's something that you've wanted to do, and you've never done it, but you'd like to do it, but you figure out what the fear is. Maybe you can't figure out what the fear is. Let's ignore the fear. Let's just figure out the steps of what it would take to do it. You know, if you put your end goal out there and then figured out what would it take to get there, that could be a cool way to do it.
Yep. And then do it. I mean, one of the things I was very fearful about was playing guitar and singing in public. I mean, it doesn't look like that, particularly when you see this new video that we did. I am loving it. I'm out there just
He's
digging
loving
what
it.
I'm doing.
He's digging it.
But man, I'll tell you what, the first time I had, and not just the first time, but dozens of times, I was so afraid. I remember standing in line for an open mic or something, feeling like everybody was looking at me, the kind of the older guy with the guitar, and what's he doing here, and that's the way I felt about myself. No one was paying any attention to me. And it's just me. And then I felt so afraid that I'd get up there and blow it. And I did many times in many different ways. But every time I blew it, I had this list of things I didn't know could happen bad on stage. And I just kept adding to the list, you know. And then finally I got better. And then I started to enjoy myself. And there was just brief moments of being better. I guess it's like that in anything you do.
I think it is. It's
Yeah.
just practice and
But in doing it in front of
things.
people, see, you can do stuff privately, but man, when you're getting up on a stage and it's just you and a guitar and it's your song, I mean, that's pretty, it takes a lot of guts. And that's one of the things about the songwriters in Nashville is that we all respect each other. It doesn't matter who you are or what you sound like. We all appreciate the fact that you had the guts to, you know, throw your boots on and put a T-shirt on and a ball cap or whatever and grab your guitar and come down here. And it's not easy to stand up in front of other people, particularly other songwriters in this town, and risk it all with new material. And and that's one of the things that's really fantastic about being part of the songwriter community here, and I really dig that.
Well, you've come a long way, baby.
Yeah.
In a short time. So those of you that maybe don't know too much about us is we're making up for lost time. We just started this recording project a year ago, and so prior to that, he did the open mics, and I did a few with him, and you know we've just kind of decided at this time in our life that we were going to go for it instead of going on cruises or golfing or whatever. We are going to focus 100% on our music and our careers, such as they are.
Yeah, making a commitment to your dream.
To the dream of actually doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Significant.
Significant.
Or the thing that is the most, you know, that turns you on the most.
Exactly. For instance, yesterday we were in the recording studio, and to me that's the absolute most fun thing for me.
Yeah.
I love
just,
it.
Like, for instance, just this month, the first month of January, I mean, we're building on everything we did in 2018 because we had a plan, and we fulfilled that plan. We recorded 11 master tracks, 5 videos. We played a sold-out show. You know, we started the podcast, all this great stuff. And so we were able to hit the ground running first quarter, first month, first week. We were in Florida shooting this music video. We got back from that. The next day, we were shooting 2 episodes of our podcast. The following Tuesday, I was in the studio with a brand new song to record. And now it's just like less than a week later, we're recording an episode.
More podcasts,
Yeah.
episodes 9 and episodes 10.
So, you know, one of the things that we had to do was we had to figure out what are our goals and are they reasonably realistic?
Right.
This is one of the reasons why other people don't get started. And I didn't get started because I had delusions of grandeur. I had to be this big guy that was
Well, you
doing
thought
all
you'd have
this.
to get discovered, and then it would all.
Yeah, you have to be, you know,
Be
and you
great.
can't wait to be good. You have to go out and get good. And if getting good means, you know, flopping around, failing, and not really being good,
Well,
you
it's
know,
figuring out
that's
your
okay.
next goal. Are you going to play for your friends? Are you going to have an art show? You know, are
Yeah.
you going to, you know, cook for a party or, you know, something that you love to do? Are you going to do it? What are the steps to do it? I mean, for us, our next project is our next live show. So we're, you know, starting to figure out the logistics on that. It's going to be in March sometime. And for me, the biggest fear is to get enough people to fill up a room. We're going to go for a bigger venue than the last venue, I think.
Yep.
And get more people in and all the.
That's where we need your help.
Yeah, we hope you'll come to our show.
And we'll be introducing that here in the next little bit of time.
Yeah.
And we have so many people's schedules to coordinate with, and you've got holidays, you've got Valentine's Day, and by the way, this is our after Valentine's Day show, isn't it? This is the one right before Valentine's. Okay, great. Well, I'm going to tell you what. We're not great at a lot of things, but we've managed to stay married for 32 years. And you are my Valentine.
Thank you. You're my Valentine.
I don't have
too,
any other
sweetheart.
Valentines but you. It's been that way for so long, and I can't even imagine it any other way.
Oh, I love
you.
you.
Yeah. So this is what it's all about. And for us to be able to do our passion together is
It's so exciting.
it's redeeming our lives.
Yeah.
And that's why we want you to do what you want to do, is if we can inspire you to do that, because your life could actually be redeemed from all the dreams and hopes and stuff you didn't do. And believe me, at the end of your life, it's going to be the stuff you didn't do, the dream you didn't go for. That's going to be your regret. There's stuff we all have those regrets, right? It's not the stuff, you live through the stuff you do, right? You move on. It's the stuff you don't try.
So we want to encourage you
yeah.
to try. And, if you want to make some comments, about our show or your dreams, or if you've got some questions,
Great
that would
point,
be great.
Dan. Let's have them, follow their heart. Why don't we have people
If you want to tell
write
us
in
what
and tell
your
us
dream
what-
is,
yeah.
we'll encourage
Yeah.
you, and maybe we'll have an idea
Let's
for
do this
you or
together.
something. And also be sure to join Team Hemp. And
Hashtag Team Hemp.
Hashtag Team Hemp, or go to our hempmeadows.com. Please join Team Hemp so you can get updates on all of our projects, our show especially. It's going to be a great one, I know.
Yeah. Well, once again, we're going to have a fabulous band. We sold out our first show. People are still talking about it. They're always asking me, Hemp, when are you going to be playing again? And now we're going to be coming up with a date. It's going to be phenomenal. And, success is really just the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or a worthwhile goal. And if you do something a little bit every day, if you try every day and progress a little bit every day, you'll be surprised the way your efforts begin to compound.
They do. There's like a dynamic
momentum.
momentum that occurs.
Yeah.
We've found this in our businesses that we've had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's critical mass. It's like when you're putting out so much energy in enough areas, and you're covering your bases
Yeah.
and you're continuing on, all of a sudden it starts becoming exponential.
That's what Malcolm...
And that's when you get the momentum, and that's
Yeah.
when things really start happening.
Right, exactly.
It's so exciting when it
That's
does.
the tipping point.
It's a
That's
tipping
what,
point
That's
where
what
you
Malcolm
feel the
Gladwell
momentum.
called the tipping point.
You may have had this in your businesses
Yeah.
or in projects.
It's
or
where
things.
it's where a rocket ship escapes the Earth's gravity.
Right, lifts off.
It's that moment. It's when water boils at 212. There's just this thing that happens that it takes on a life of its own, and you know it when it happens, and you know it when it's not happening. So if it's not happening for you, make it happen. Get out there and try, and hopefully our show will be a connection for
Yeah.
you. So please send in your, if there's something that's hanging you up, or if you have dreams and hopes and you want to follow your heart, let us know what your dream is, and let's do this together.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We really, really, really appreciate all of our fans and friends and people that have complimented our music. You don't know how much that means to us. It's such an encouragement.
Well, one of the things that really is important to us is, and I guess it's really the purpose behind this show, is to engage with our fans and to provide some degree of connection and community, and to be able to keep moving in a way that I think our generation in particular, Denim, is really experiencing a renaissance of excitement about what the future might hold if they're willing to go for their dream.
I believe so too. I do. I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think it's it's ubiquitous with all age groups, but I think our age group especially because we have a sense of urgency. I think that younger people.
Yeah,
might
you have a
not
sense of the timeline, right?
So developing a plan of what you're going to do, I totally recommend writing stuff down, making lists, making timelines, hold yourself
With goals,
accountable.
yeah.
I mean, it's great if you can have a itemized list and you start crossing the stuff off. I mean,
The satisfaction of
that's what
man,
I do
yeah.
on all of our projects.
Yeah.
We plan it all out. and we fulfill the goals, and then pretty soon you've made progress.
Right. And it can be really minor stuff at the beginning. I mean, just it's like, when you're doing anything, it starts with the first step, right? And then it comes down to just incrementally getting better. It's like working out. You start getting a little better and stronger, and you begin to feel your strength coming back in, and results start to happen. And if the results aren't exactly what you're looking for, then just change your plan. But you have to have a plan to change, right?
That's right. So, you can make a plan. You can make have you ever heard of a vision map?
Yeah.
You can do
the
that.
mind
That's
map.
really fun,
Yeah.
a mind map. You can, just have fun, get a glass of wine, put on some music, and grab some old magazines. And what you do is get a poster board and just go through the magazines, and just without actually thinking about it, just pull out stuff that inspires you.
And I mean, it really works,
Yeah,
because
you
I
can
remember ones that we
glue it
put
down
together.
and- yeah.
Yeah, back when we were really starting to get into the motivational industry and personal growth and everything. I remember we had physical goals then. I wanted to get a Denim, a fur coat.
Yeah, we
We
wanted
had
a car.
We wanted a car. We wanted our dream home, which we actually got here in Nashville. I mean, we described what our dream was. I knew how many square feet it was, if it had a pool, a cabana, landscaped with a lake. We got all of that. And it's just phenomenal. And then, of course, to live our dream now, your dream changes. We sold all of that, and now we've downscaled completely. So we're at a place where we're at a different
we
time
have
of
a
our
new
life.
dream.
Yeah, so we can pursue another dream. So that was a plan. And we had to have buy-in with each other.
Exactly. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in another episode.
Yeah. Because working together is the greatest dream come true. I hear that
Most
from
of the
couples all
time.
the time. Yeah, but you have to be in agreement. You have to have the same vision, values, and goals, and that requires a lot of communication, and requires a lot of not necessarily compromise, but you got to figure it out.
You have to figure it out.
Yeah. So when we figure it out, we'll let you know. Well, we'll be right back.
You can't fool karma.
All right. Hey, we're back. Hey, this is really a great segment, Denim. And one of the things that we were asked about success is, do you have any rules of success? And so I thought maybe we'd just put some of maybe the top 5 things. There's no such things as rules, really. But
Not rules, but
you know.
there's top 5 things, and you always
Yeah.
have the greatest ideas about these, how to be.
Well.
I have to say that Hemp is my inspiration, because
Really?
if it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't do anything, hardly. I mean, he just motivates me so much to
Well.
reach out and do stuff, and it's very exciting.
Well, I know
wanna
your
thank
potential,
you.
and I want you to explore it, and I want you to experience it, and I want to experience it because I know what you're really like, and I know how fantastic you are. And if other people knew you the way you inspire me, they would be inspired too. So it's not fair for you to not give your gift. This is true with everybody, right? It's not fair for you to give your gift. It's like a songwriter, and I used to do this. I'd be sitting in my room, I'd have all these great songs and stuff. I'd never go out and play. What good is that? It's not. You got to share your gift. You go, well, I'm kind of scared about that. Fuck that. You have to get over that. You have to get to a point where you say, giving my gift to other people with you can't ever get anything to come back to you. You have
Without
to give
giving it
Yeah.
first.
That's called karma.
Yeah.
You have to give it to get it, right? And you don't want to not give it. You don't get nothing if you don't give. So 5 things, of success. These are things that I've found in my own life, but even maybe more importantly, that I've observed in others.
Okay.
That I think are just
Probably especially me.
probably. I mean, across the board, if you find people of success, you're going to find these 5 qualities.
Oh, I thought we were talking about fears. That's why.
Oh, okay. No, but these 5 things you definitely have these things too.
Okay.
You fall within that. And the first one is enthusiasm.
I do have enthusiasm, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
You have to be enthusiastic about what you're doing.
Exactly. If you're not excited about your project or what you're doing, you'll never.
Why would you expect
would you-
anybody else
yeah,
to be?
no one else will. And that enthusiasm will carry you over, the bumps and detours. Just
Challenges,
yeah, you have to
yeah.
be completely sold out to what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not like your job where, you're doing a great job, but this is different. It's like your own business. It's your own creation. And you have to be 100% sold out.
Yeah. Enthusiasm to the point of obsession.
And delusion.
Yeah, and delusion helps.
Yeah.
Major key. But, and that kind of leads into the next thing, which actually is not delusion, but it's focus.
Focus.
And if you do not have the ability to focus with unrelenting attention to detail for long periods of time, then it's not going to work. And I know that as you get older, it gets harder and harder to focus, harder to really zone in and pay attention to something for the level of detail it might take. Like I remember being in the studio many, many times where we would sit for hours, listening and working on mixes. And, when you're young, you could sit there for hours. Just, these DJs do it now. They'll start out with just a track and build it might take 6 or 8 hours. And to be able to do that, it just takes so much focus. So you've got to have it, because if you wind up getting distracted, it takes you out of, then you've got to come back, and all distractions are equal. It doesn't even matter what it is. I was listening to this podcast the other day with this guy that said, I was busy practicing the number one thing that all writers love to do the most, and that is not writing.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Writer's
And
block.
then, I can totally relate to that, so.
Well, I was just going to
Focus.
say the best way to focus is to write it down. To write it down.
Yeah.
Because if it's just in your head, it's just floating around.
There's a lot of other stuff
but if
in
you,
there,
If
yeah.
you write it down, you can make it real. You can visualize it. You can talk about it. You can check it off your list. So that would be my advice.
Well, and that leads
You need a lot of Post-it notes.
yeah.
And then you
it
need
helps.
to transfer the Post-it notes onto a bigger tablet.
Okay.
Or putting it in your Evernotes.
Yeah. And then putting it on a whiteboard.
White-
All those
we
different
use a
things.
whiteboard, by the way. We'll have to show you the whiteboard sometime we use. We started over about every 3 or 4 weeks, but we're working on the 2019
It's filled right now. Totally filled.
version. And once we work through what's on there, we erase it, or we take a picture of it, and then we
Yeah.
erase it and start over.
Yep. So always take a picture of your whiteboard.
Timelines, dates,
Yeah.
everything we need. Like when we start doing the logistics for the show, we'll
Yeah.
have it written up on the
Oh,
board.
You should see the stuff that goes into producing a live show. It's unbelievable. So this leads into my next point, which is team.
Having a good team, whether it's your partner or whether it's just having the cooperation of your children, that they'll let you do something that you want to do.
Yeah, that's your part. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah, that they understand
Yeah.
and that they're part of it,
Yeah,
part of the team.
being supportive of you. So,
a great idea.
be around people that are going to back you up. They're going to be supporting and encouraging to you. That's so vital.
I know it's made a big difference in.
And we'll be
Yeah.
that for you too. If you let us know what you're doing, we'll encourage you.
Yeah, because we are.
Seriously.
We kind of are all a team. I mean, we're
Yeah.
all in this together. The unique thing is, I think about this sometimes. We're all alive right now. This is our moment, and we will not always have this moment. And so, even though we're coming and going, we have to realize that we do it through relationships, and that means being able to somehow put a team together, and that requires a lot of personal growth. I have not always been a leader, although I have the gift of leadership. I have not always been a good leader because I wasn't able to provide what a team really needed on some levels, and I'll go into that. But I've since learned how to do that, and we have a magnificent team. In fact, we have a couple of guys with us here tonight that
give 'em a shout out,
We'll talk about that in a minute. Well, I think we're going to hear from Nick Danger here in just a little
Yeah,
bit.
he's our media master.
Yeah, our media marketing master. I
That's
can't do
right.
that stuff. I have an overview of the way it's supposed to work and the way the pieces of the puzzle fit together, but it takes somebody who knows how to do that, and that's his thing, his specialty. And there's nobody better than Nick to do that. And it's like Casey, our producer, Casey Kaching. I mean, it's just... He's here tonight. I mean, he set up a mobile studio here and
In our
provided
undisclosed location.
in our undisclosed location, and is producing a fabulous podcast. We look great, we sound great, and so it takes a team. I've always thought about doing a podcast, but you can't do it on your own. It's ridiculous. So having a great team, and the other thing is vision.
Vision.
Yeah.
What would you want the ultimate result to be?
What
And-
is your vision?
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, I'm conflicted about vision because you don't want the vision to be like too big that it's ridiculous, or
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think, Hemp?
Well, I think that we need to have a big vision.
A big one?
Yeah. But I think it needs to be somewhat, then you have to backfill it with like, okay, where are we now?
Right.
Like if you
Is
say-
it possible to get
Yeah, yeah. And then now back to reality. And I think it's very important to be realistic. That would be number 6 is, being realistic. Okay, because I think a lot of people fail from having unrealistic expectations that are unfulfilled. It wasn't that you couldn't do it. You couldn't do that. Learn where all this works. And that leads into the last thing, which I've got down here. I just got 5.
Now you have 6. This is
This would be number 6 is work ethic.
work ethic. Nothing beats work ethic.
Yeah.
You have to put in the time and really
quality time.
Quality time.
Working a plan, not just
thinking or looking at Facebook.
Yeah. Or even
Like
thinking about
I want
stuff.
to do. I'm still having carpal tunnel from my.
Yeah.
Yes, I have this new app where it shows you the screen time. It's very horrifying. So
Okay.
I'm trying to cut back on. I'm dieting.
Yeah, I hope you do, because I'd like to have my wife back. But anyway, so these are the 5 things: enthusiasm, focus, a team, vision, work ethic, and then realistic expectations, right? I mean, we could...
Semi-realistic.
Yeah, there's a dozen of them, because delusion was one of the other great qualities we have down
You
here.
have to have a certain amount of delusion.
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't do it. I mean, you have to have a certain amount. I have to have a certain amount of delusion, otherwise I would never even leave the house in the morning, So hopefully this is stuff that you can relate to in your own life. And, we'll have 5 rules on a relationship, and
Yeah.
maybe 5
in
other
a
rules for...
subsequent show.
Yeah, yeah. So this is fun.
Yeah. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah.
You can't fool karma.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back to Hemp and Denim and the Follow Your Heart show.
I'm feeling pretty motivated after our last segment.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Well, one of the things we mentioned in our 5 things that you're kind of the things you have to have for success is team, and we happen to have one of our esteemed team members, our main marketing magician, our main
Media master.
media master. Okay, put that on the business
That's
card.
right.
Mr. Nick Danger.
Hey, Nick,
He's
are you
calling
there?
in. Yeah.
Yo, what's up, guys? Loving the show so far.
Oh, thank you.
So what's up with you, Nick?
Well, I've been keeping tabs on the community as
Okay.
usual, and we got some activity going on at the website. We do have a question coming through. Let's see. It is handling self-criticism. So we got Matt coming in here.
Okay.
Let's see. He has tried a couple different things in the past, and his friends always say that things turn out well, but for him, he is unhappy with the results. So what advice do you guys have as far as self-criticism goes?
Is it self-loathing?
It might be.
Yeah.
Might be.
Because I want to know from Mac if it's not his real name, of course, but hence Mac. Although it probably is his real name. If it is, I'm really, really sorry, Mac. But his friends say that he's having success, but he's unhappy still. Is that what it was, or what was his real problem?
Yeah, it was pretty much. So what he's saying is, he's tried some projects in the past, and his friends are real supportive about it. But
Because usually friends are not supportive.
yeah, well,
That's one of the hard things is if you've got friends that you're hanging out with. I thought that's where this question was going, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I'll tell you what. Like we were talking about having a great team around you. Sometimes you can have friends and family around you that just rain on your parade and say, "Oh yeah, really? Well, think about all the others."
Right, everything that
aren't
can
you
go
the guy
wrong.
that tried that last summer and that didn't work out too good, did it? Or you have how many of you right now when you were kids when you were struggling with your parents wanted one thing for you and you wanted something else.
Been
and
there.
so I mean that happens, right?
Yeah.
Or and then you had to go do something else and you never got to do what you wanted to do or whatever. But self-criticism, that's a bitch. Because it's a mental game. Success is played inside.
It's listening to the voices in your head that are lying to you.
Yeah.
It's like just what you said, false evidence appearing real.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you allow your mind to just tell you, it'll go into circuits.
Yeah, you have negative thought patterns,
and-
particularly about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to break those patterns.
That have been reinforced. And most of it happened when we were kids, and everything was highly emotionalized, and everything was about us, and then you'd go out and you'd fail, you'd fall, your dad or mom or whatever, there was criticism, and you took it really to heart, and it gets embedded, and then you find ways to continue to, to make it worse throughout your life, to go, oh, yeah, that's me, stuff didn't work out again, my relationship or, my business or whatever.
That's a pretty tough question, Mac. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist
Or a psychic.
or a psychic.
You're a sidekick.
I'm a
but
psycho. No,
Yeah.
just kidding. I'm a sidekick.
Yeah, keep reducing psychological down to psycho. It's a long word. It could be just one short word.
But I guess I just like to say that I believe your friends. If they're encouraging you and they like what you're doing, why don't you put their words in your head instead of your own, cycle
Well, it
of
kind of depends on
negativity?
what Mac is doing, don't you think? I mean,
Well-
maybe he's doing something he shouldn't do, and his friends are very encouraging.
That would be so mean.
I don't know Mac or his friends.
I think we need more details from Mac about this particular situation. I don't think we can offer any more unsolicited advice this time.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that gets Max situated. So next we got
We're
Tiffany.
very hopeful.
Next we got Tiffany. Yeah, Mac, let us know. So hop down in the
please.
comments.
I'd
let
be
us
very
know.
excited about
I
hearing
hope that
back from
helps.
you, Mac.
I'm sure it will. So next we got Tiffany. We got
Okay.
Tiffany coming in, and she's got a question about sticking with it. So she has a couple different things that she likes to do, but she wants to know, how do I know when I'm ready? And how do I know I've picked the right dream to follow?
I think you're going to know if it feels great when you're doing it.
Yeah, man, that's a big one.
Maybe not all the time. There's lots of things that we have to do in order to do the music and what we're doing that aren't that fun. But the ultimate thing of doing the podcast is fun. Recording is really fun. So, the work you put in for that payoff. So do you love the payoff? Does the payoff feel good? I'd say that'd be a good indication that you're on the right track.
Yeah, I think that's all really good. I think what it really comes down to is identifying your gift. What you're saying there.
Yeah, and they say that it's what you enjoyed when you were a child. Like if you're trying to find your gift,
Yeah.
what was it that really turned you on when you were a little guy before things started?
Yeah, before they drained all the creativity out
Exactly.
of you. Before you had to go to school and shit. Not that I'm resentful about anything. But I forgot who said it, but he said that all kids are born geniuses or creative.
Creative.
Creative, not necessarily creative geniuses, but creative. And that little by little it gets stamped out. And so, the thing is I think that's a great idea. It's remember, this goes back to childhood again. I was just talking about childhood, but so much of what is such a formulative time. If you find something, if you can remember something that you were just naturally good at, that's the gift, right? You might even have several gifts. That's called a gifted child, someone that just seems to have a lot of different gifts. But something that you were able to do naturally, that was without even trying. It was easy, and you loved doing it.
And for Tiffany, if you just even have that inkling that you get that feeling that this is a great thing, I'm loving it, I'd say that'd be pretty good indication that you're on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that way all the time.
No,
I mean, you can
because-
be up on stage doing a show and your monitors are horrible, or it can be hard, but you just have to look for that satisfaction of
Yeah.
when you complete something. I mean, a lot of people get enjoyment. Personally, I do about house cleaning. It's very satisfying
You
when
do?
you. Well, not all the time, but sometimes when you finish it and everything is so beautiful,
Yeah.
it just gives you a really good feeling.
That's true.
And so that's a worthwhile thing. For your creative things should at least feel as good as when you wax your car and it looks great, or
Yeah.
you get a good buy at the store or something.
Yeah, I would agree. That's really cool.
So there you are, Miss Tiffany. Hope that helps. And, we'd really appreciate it if you drop it down in the comments. What is it that you are working on? We'd
Yeah.
love to check it out. We always love seeing those sorts of things. And looks like last one for this episode, we got Roberto coming in with a
All right.
timeline.
Roberto.
What the hell is a timeline? Is that like 6 months? Is that a year? What is that?
Great question.
Oh, that is
Roberto.
a great question.
Yeah.
Well, a timeline could be any time you want it to be.
Yeah.
But it would be your specific goals. You might have your ultimate goal, might be a year, it might be 2 years out. And your intermediate goals would be like 30, 60, 90-day plan. Do a plan for the first 30, 60, 90, then do, 6-month plan. And you keep revising it as you hit those milestones of you
Yeah.
achieve the things that you have identified in your plan that you're going to have to do to reach the goal.
Right. So a timeline is just an arbitrary period of time that you make up to accomplish goals.
Right.
Like I was thinking while you were talking, Denim, about the Franklin planners I used to use.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, the Franklin planner laid out a timeline. It's the day. Okay, it's every hour in the day. That's a timeline. And then you'd fill it up with, I want to accomplish this within this hour, and so forth. And then, over the course of a week, and those weeks become months. And so what Denim was talking about is like a 30, 60, 90-day plan. That'd be 3 months, 90 days, is a really, really effective timeline because it's manageable. And you can backfill it on a weekly basis or even a daily basis because I've got 90 days. They're countable. And so, for the first week, I want to accomplish this. Second week, and like you were talking about, having goals as milestones.
Yeah, your goals are your milestones.
And when you hit those within the timeline that you've established, that's success. And success is just the progressive realization towards a worthwhile goal.
You could even look at it as a recipe. Like if you had a recipe for a food, dish, and it had ingredients, and it had things you did with those ingredients, and mixing them or measuring them or cooking them, and by the time you're done, though, you have something delicious to eat. But you followed the plan of the recipe with the ingredients and the process to get to the end result. So, hopefully that would turn out to be a great result for your meal and also your goals, your dreams.
I'm hungry.
Me too. I'm hungry.
Well, we usually work on a 30, 60, 90-day plan, and that's what has really been effective for us. And we have a 30, 60, 90-day plan we're working right now in 2019. Our first month, January, we accomplished a lot of different things. For example, within this first month of 2019, what have we done?
Well, I think we already said what we did, but we can, I guess, repeat it.
Yeah.
We this month we recorded a music video.
Yep.
We recorded a new song.
Yep.
We also had a couple of fun events. We sat in at a writers' night in St. Petersburg, Florida,
Yep.
and played for a house concert. So that was really fun.
And also played for a house concert.
And our cutting podcast.
Yeah.
So,
2 live gigs, 4 podcasts, a video, and a record.
Yeah, so we're working our plan.
First month of January. So
yeah.
you see, what we're doing is
We're running really fast.
we're running hard and fast
That's
because
right.
we're building momentum to escape the gravity of the earth. You have to do what you need to do, and we could not begin to do at the level we're doing it, either in terms of quantity of production or the quality of production, a year ago.
No,
We had
we've
to go
ramped
through what
up to it.
Yeah.
So it's taken a while.
And that's a timeline.
And we're improving on our podcast. I hope you guys are.
I hope you feel that way, too. We feel a little better about it,
So we
you know.
feel a little bit better about it, and I think this might have been a pretty good show. So we are looking forward to seeing you again for episode 10 next week. It's our post Valentine's Day extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
We're going to play the newlywed game. So
We're going to play the newlywed
we
game?
are.
Ooh, I
So
can't wait
until
to find
then,
out new things about
I'm
you.
Denim Sky, and this is Hemp Meadows. And we wish you peace, love, prosperity, and happiness.
Oh, how about that? More about that later. Much more.
From the veranda, we watch the sun go down without a sound on the ocean. These emotions might not ever come again. I look in your eyes, and to my surprise, I see my world stretching out before me. I feel so free, I never wanted to end. You've gotta follow your heart. I come for a walk just wandering around in circles. But the circle always leads me back to you. I want you to know I'll never go. I always wanna be here beside you. Deep inside you, I hope you're feeling it too. You gotta follow